The present moment. How many of us are there right now? How many of us are here? Presence is something that is highly talked about, yet seems to be very elusive to many people. Now is actually always existing. If we take the perspective of linear time being a construct of this reality, a formation, a creation, and that time exists infinitely, and that anything that you would think of as the past or the future isn't really existing in a quote past or a future. They're not existing in a different time. They're existing in a different space or a different reality. And that time space, this function of linear time, is a function of our consciousness's ability to perceive that, just like we have an ability to perceive light in a certain way. It's different than an insect's ability to perceive light. Have you ever wondered if the bacteria, fungi, animals, plants have a different relationship with time? I mean, that mosquito lives for 10 days. Is that a different concept of 10 days than we have of that same 10 days? We can even look back into our own life, and we may recognize the difference of the relationship to time that has happened from 30 years ago to how time is moving today. Is that real? Is linear time real? These are all questions we get to answer. Yes, I was going to say ask. These are all questions that we get to ask ourselves, and maybe we do not answer. Maybe it's a contemplation, it's a pondering. It's something that we're always open to observe. Why am I talking about this? Because in this Kriya, we're going to be practicing presence in a way that I find fascinating. The masculine approach to presence is to hold the focus here and now, which I can do fantastically. The feminine focus would be to release control and receive what is here and now. Even physiological functions in our body. So we all can take a breath. If everybody just takes a breath, that's an inhale, let it go, exhale. That's us controlling that mechanism. Now let's release control and just let the breath happen. Observe the body. Observe the length of the inhale. Observe the intelligence. Start to reverse the direction to the exhale. And then there's a reverse to the inhale. Your ability to do this is going to depend on you. If you are still finding yourself switching on a switch to turn on an inhale or to say, okay, now I have to exhale, see if you can silence that mechanism and let it happen automatically. I'm all about self-expansion because for my perspective, everything is self. Science calls this the Big Bang, when everything was in one point, and then it exploded, and now we're all different aspects of that individual point. However, we're all still one. This separateness, the distortions that we perceive because of our sense organs. And there's much more to be perceived. Now, I'm not advocating for the Big Bang or a gravitational model of the universe or the fact that any of this is real at all. In each one of those scenarios, the Matrix, this is a video game. This is, we're enslaved by some extraterrestrials or the various religious viewpoints on the purpose of life and matter. You can contemplate on the essence of the totality of the universe in relationship to self, and even the totality of time. Now back to time, I haven't forgot about that. When we can start to release and practice releasing aspects of self, like taking a breath, or as we're doing this Kriya, actually moving the body, when we can start to offload those, we can be present to more than typical. What do I mean by that? Back to the breath. If we're still just watching our breath come in and out, what we're taught is that our body is doing that automatically. There's an autonomous mechanism in our body that's happening on a subconscious or unconscious level, and it is ruling the decisions of the body. It is conscious in a way. So what is consciousness? What if it's not inside of our body? What if it's something else? Are we able to observe that? Can we view our breath from the perspective that the body is breathing? Of course we can, because we can feel it. We can feel our chest rise or our stomach come out. We can feel the sides of the ribs. If you guys can feel on the inhale, feel the sides of your ribs expanding. Some of you may not have been doing that anymore, but just the awareness of that is almost like a relaxation. You can feel the backs of your ribs expanding as you do this. And as you're feeling that, you're feeling your body grow taller. And just the mere mention of body growing taller allows your body to grow taller. But we've turned off the mechanism that made you do that. It was just your intention. So you're feeling your body grow taller. You're feeling the lightness of your body. And if you don't, please change positions. You're feeling the openness of your body. The receptivity of the body. Observe, see if you can observe something else breathing your body. The air we think is not our body because it's technically outside of us, but the air is allowing our body to be alive. So is the water, so is the light, so is the earth, so is other people. We would not be here without our parents. Is there a way that maybe all of this exists with us, through us? That we, this physical body, is an aspect of the whole, and maybe it's the whole that is breathing into this body? Are we able to observe that? Are we able to observe this grander, greater version of ourselves breathing our body? I'm going to say this to you now, but try to forget it, if possible. Next time you eat, observe, or if there's water by you, take a sip. Observe this grander, greater version of you tasting the beverage or the food. If you're connected, if you're able to feel this connection, the present moment gets a whole lot more dimensional, gets a whole lot more potent. Because you're allowing the flow, the essence of life, the essence of everything to be experiencing life through you. So if we've done that so far, if you guys have taken a sip, chewing and tasting food is a different experience. So I just grabbed that drink and brought it to my face. I used my body to stand up and move. Are we able to switch our sense of awareness to allow a flow of a greater intelligence to move our body? So if I were to tell you to put your palms facing up, and on the inhales, let your hands open a little bit, and on the exhales, let your fingers contract a little bit. And coordinate. I'll exaggerate, it'll be open really wide. Exhale, you contract a little bit. And those are strong words for what we're going to actually be sensing. So go ahead and inhale and exhale and just feel your hands in coordination to the breath. Now, some of us, myself included, went back to, I am breathing. I am taking this inhale. I am moving my hands. I am closing my hands. And I am doing it in coordination, like I suggested. Can we give that up? Can we surrender? And let the body breathe on its own. And let the hands coordinate. Even if it's subtle. And if we can shift another gear and actually let this greater sense of self do the breathing and the moving of the fingers. we can tap into something greater than ourselves. Keep on doing that as I talk. One of the things that I really like about these Kriyas, and one of the first things that attracted me to these practices, is some of the things that we do are beyond what is comfortable and sometimes beyond what is physically capable of myself. And so if our arms are up in the air for 11 minutes and we're moving them and we're breathing with them, at the 90-second mark, 2-minute mark, it's beyond capacity. And I can use willpower to squeeze out a few more seconds or minutes. And then there's this other gear I can get into where I actually relax and I release and I offer myself to the totality of everything, and something else flows into me and allows me to keep that posture or that movement. And this whole talk is me suggesting that it may be possible for everybody practicing this to start to open up to that. Because when we can be in flow, not just with the events around us, but actually the messages, the motivations, the warnings, the desires of what's coming through our body system, including our physical sensations, but through our entire being. And we can start to grab a hold to that and sense that and move with it. Any movement we actually do is to facilitate the support of this flow. Not only are we going to be present, because it is impossible to be experiencing flow and be outside of the present moment. It is impossible. Flow is presence. You are in the flow of now. There's no also thinking about what we need to pick up at the grocery store tonight. That doesn't exist in the same realm. And so, if we're able to tap into this flow, we have another dimension of life to experience it through. And that's what learning is. And that is progression, and that is one of the great joys, if not the reason why we're here. Let's move on to our voice. We're not doing any chanting today, but we're going to use this as an example. We're just going to chant Om. So let's get back into that breath pattern. Letting the greater version of ourself breathe into the body. Your hands can be out. You can still feel it interacting. Feel the prana, the oxygen coming in, interacting with the hands, which we are getting into in the Kriya. And now we're going to see if we can flow, channel the act of pronouncing Om. So all of us can just say it with our body. Let's see if we can tap into something else, something grander saying it through our body. Even though I'm directing, tap in. Take one warm-up breath, inhale. Release it. Big inhale to Om. Two more. For me, I've never heard myself like that. That was amazing. Let's do a little warm up. So if you're sitting on something, you can come off of it.